Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Manchester United won, Everton won. I'm joined by Finn, who's one of our patrons.
Right.
Welcome, mate.
Nice one for having me on, right?
It's not a bad one to talk about either.
No, it's not, no. Considering what we thought it was going to be.
Exactly. It was a big game, actually, a big test for Everton going to Old Trafford at the weekend. No Dominic Calvert-Lewin, as we know, no Richarlison, James Coleman still out. Alex Iwobi, whether people thought that was bad or good.
Yep.
He's been playing, hasn't he? So he was out as well. Much changed. But, you know, the manager put a game plan together, and from then on, it was okay. Start for Anthony Gordon. Would that surprise you that Anthony Gordon started?
Yeah, because obviously we weren't sure if Iwobi was going to be playing or not. So, but when he was thrown in, I thought going up against Wan-Bissaka, it might have been a bit of a struggle for him, considering how defensively good he is. But yeah, when he started and he slowly got going, he got better as the game went on. So.
He definitely did. I mean, I think the thing with it was, I was surprised he was in, to be honest, because I didn't know whether he'd go with Davies from the start and play 4-3-3, but he went with a 4-4-2-4, 4-1-1, really. Damari Gray was floating a little bit behind London. But what I thought Gordon did really well was just this discipline. Stayed out there, occupied Wan-Bissaka, helped Luca Dean out, and seemed to work quite well. That
was always a bit of a worry for me with Gordon. Defensively, his positioning is not as good as what he needs to be, but he did all right, to be fair to him, yeah. Handled Wan-Bissaka and can't remember the other fellow on the right. Greenwood, yeah. So he did very well.
Yeah, I mean, that's, for him, that's the kind of thing he's got to do. He's got to show the manager he can be trusted. And then you're seeing as the game went on, he started running at Wan-Bissaka, which is obviously what we want him to do. Yeah. You know, we don't just want someone in who's not going to go forward, because there's no point. But he did start to stretch them, I thought, as the game went on, which was what's exactly what we want to see, isn't it? You know, Manchester United, I guess, sprung a little surprise, but people were a bit disappointed that Ronaldo was on the bench. Yeah. But you looked at, I mean, the Everton bench, you know,
good youngsters.
Exactly, you know, Charlie Whittaker was on there. You know, Ellis Sims wasn't. We'd seen him in a protective boot in the photo shoot the other day, so he's obviously picked up an injury. But Lewis Dobbin was on there. Jared Branthwaite. So you know, young lads on the bench
and two goalkeepers.
Two keepers. That's standard now, isn't it? That's standard for us. But you looked at Manchester United and you're seeing, you know, Ronaldo, Jadon Sancho. You're looking at that bench and going, Pogba sat there, Jesse Lingard. And I think someone said it was £420 million worth of talent sat on the bench. You looked at their bench and were like, yeah, most of them waltz into our team. Yeah. But you know, that I think this, the one big thing about the Everton manager in terms of Rafa Benitez is he is very methodical in what he wants to do. His planning is meticulous. And he's obviously watched Manchester United last weekend, watched them against Villarreal in the weekend, set up his Everton side to follow a certain plan. And we saw that early on, what he likes to do, that hand movement, doesn't he, the compactness. And that was evident early on that we were just going to make it difficult for them to try to play through us.
Yeah, well, I noticed, because I watched United play Villarreal midweek, and they got torn apart from Mathew and Campbell coming from deep and driving forward. Yeah. And you could see Rafa's seen that, and then he's got Decore doing that as well, and they're very similar built players. Yeah. And he was just driving through the middle, and then Fred and McTominay, they're not anywhere near good defensively. It was just easy pickings for Decore, really picking and choosing when he wants to go forward. Yeah. And obviously he got some of them right.
Oh, he definitely did. And I think that the important thing was, it's that thing that you say a lot, don't you? You know, it's that first 15 minutes, don't give these a goal in the opening quarter of an hour. And the first 15 minutes came and went without any real issue for Everton. You know, United had a lot of the ball. We knew they would. They're a good side. They've got some great players. But that's our game plan. Our game plan very much is counter-attacking football. So the manager was at pains to say it in his press conference as well. People talking about possession and this, that, and he was like, it's not about possession, it's about what you do with the ball. That's all that matters. And Everton, I thought, carried that game plan out perfectly.
Yeah, we did, yeah. Like you said, first 15 minutes, I think a stat popped up when I was watching on telly. We had 22% possession of the ball, and it felt like we were still on top in a way with getting forward. But obviously United were always going to dominate the ball, and then we got the Rondon chance very early on in that first half, and I don't know what was going through his head when he tried to sort of come in on his right instead of just hitting it as hard as he can with his left. And obviously Varane come across and
blocked
made a good block.
It was a good little move, that, and you're right. He should have. I think again, it's sharpness, and I don't want to criticise Rondon too much, just for the simple reason I still don't think he's up to speed yet.
No.
I think the plan with Rondon was come in, we'll get you fit, you know, and then you'll be an option at 20 minutes from the end of games off the bench, and he come in, and obviously Dominic Calvert-Lewin's been injured and he's had to play. I thought, talking to Ped before, I thought in general he was all right in the game. He occupied them a bit. The thing what he isn't doing is he's not a threat at the moment.
No,
and that's,
not at all.
So he's taking a lot of the weight, he's knocking people about, but he's not a goal threat, and he's got to get that sharpness now to become a goal threat. You're absolutely right. If he'd have just swung at it with his left foot, the target, and keeper saved it. Damari Gray was there, because Gray was fuming with him, wasn't he?
You could see when he got in the goal, he had his hands out, and he was absolutely livid that he didn't get that little pass inside.
Definitely. Manchester United, the first they'd had a Martial header, hadn't they, at the far post, which he probably should have done better with. Everton should have certainly defended it better. But the first real opportunity they had, which was Edison Cavani header, which Jordan Pickford made a wonderful save from. And I'm not sure enough, what I certainly haven't seen, and the commentary team, I'm not sure they give him enough credit for it, because it was a good header.
No.
And it kicked off the turf. And he's got a strong hand away from everything as well.
That's always, I think, the hardest bit of a keeper is when someone's heading it down, about judging if the ball's going to come back up. And especially with it raining and being a bit of a wet surface, he timed it to perfection. And I think he should have got more credit than what he did. But he
got it out of harm's way as well, didn't he? It was out to the side. And just on that, Michael Keane, again, I'm not going to slag him because I thought he had a good game, Michael Keane, but just on that one for me, he's got to get tighter. Cavani's the threat, he's the danger there, so go and get tight to him, and if you can't win the header, at least make it difficult for him. And he got underneath the ball, and Cavani moves away from him, but not with any great real movements. He just takes a step back. Keane's got to switch on there, and it's just those little moments. But other than that, there was one in the second half that he headed the way, and he could have brought down and stuff. But in general, I thought Michael Keane had a good game at the weekend as well.
Well, I've always thought those are the type of games where I want Michael Keane in the team, where we don't have the ball, and they've got a big physical striker who's not really going to turn and get in behind him, and he can handle that. It's when, obviously, other fast-paced players like who they brought off the bench, you know, you got Sancho and Pogba and Ronaldo who can get in behind, and that's when you.
But I thought he did play well. But really, it was only that moment that Pickford's made a save. We've had to make sure, like I said before, we're compact. We've had to make sure we get blocks in and stuff, because you will do at Old Trafford. You're not going to go there and have an easy afternoon. No. But what I thought Everton did really well was when we could spring them, we did, and we saw the Damari Gray run, which was brilliant, and I thought a really good save from David De Gea as well. When you watch it again, that does kick up off the turf, and he throws an arm out, and again, it's that thing, another couple of inches to the side, it's a goal. But we had that moment. We had Michael Keane flash the header wide off a set piece. Abdoulaye Doucouré had a shot which I thought was going in, blocked.
No, I think everyone did,
Another good move. So we, in that first half, we carried the threat on the counter-attack, definitely, and put them under pressure.
Just with the Michael Keane flick on, I think it was Anthony Gordon at the back post. I think he's just got to be a little bit more committed going forward there. Because even if he doesn't flicker on that, you know the ball's going towards that back post. If he can get a good run in behind there, then it's an easy tapping if he can get there. Because David De Gea was standing at his front post.
Yeah, but I mean, did that give you hope when you were watching it, that we were causing them problems on the break with Townsend and with Gray? We do, and Doucouré, we are springing teams really well, aren't we, at the moment? And
it's just, obviously, when you're seeing our team sheet and you're seeing, I mean, they had a few players out, but even their team sheet, you were thinking, how are we really going to get in behind and create chances? And I felt like, I feel like the lads have seen the team sheet and they've gone, well, there's no Ronaldo, there's no Pogba, no Sancho, obviously Rashford was injured, but they've gone, right, we've got to take this opportunity now. Maguire was out. We've got to take this opportunity now, and this is the perfect time to pounce, and we did terrific in that first half.
And then obviously just when it looked like we were getting in at 0-0, which would have been fine, we go and concede a goal. And I can't make my mind up whether it's a really good goal from United or whether Ben Godfrey gets sucked across too much. I've looked at it and gone, would Coleman have been any further out? I'm not sure he would have been.
No.
I think what the problem is Mina gets drawn to the ball as well, so they both come to try and nick that the Fernandes. It's almost stopped by Townsend. It just gets past him. And it's a really good ball by Bruno Fernandes, to be fair, as much as he's that player that you hate if he doesn't play for your team, but he's a fabulous footballer, but he is a little snide, and you love him if he's yours and you hate him if he isn't. It's a good ball, and we're too slow to get to Martial, and you could have, I should have put money on him scoring because he loves scoring against Everton.
I think Pickford had it comfortably though.
It flicked off,
you can see he had his arms up ready and
that little nick.
Yeah, that was it.
And you're 1-0 down and you're thinking, and there was still a couple of minutes before the break and they had the ball and you think, don't concede another one
hold
right
on
now.
to it, yeah.
But, you know, to be fair to the players, they went in 1-0 and they looked disappointed because, you know, I had the zone on and it was Owen Hargreaves and Michael Owen offers nothing, but it was Owen Hargreaves and he was saying, Everton have been, know exactly what they're doing here. United have had all the ball, but Everton's game plan is so controlled and efficient and this, that and the other. And he said they'll be disappointed to be behind. And we were, weren't we? And it was how we reacted and we came out. And what I thought was the first 10 minutes of the second half, I thought United had all of they looked like they were about to kill the game off. They started on the front foot. Didn't really create anything, but they moved us around quite well. And I was thinking, we're in a little bit of trouble here. And then the next minute, you pans to the bench and here comes Cristiano and here comes Jadon Sancho. And you're thinking, right, these are trying to just get this one now straight away. And ironically, for me, after they came on, Everton stepped up another gear, which was a bit... Did you see it like that?
Yeah, I felt like I feel like especially two centre-backs have seen he's coming on. We've got to be able to handle Ronaldo because his movement and he's obviously really good in the air. We've got to be able to control that. And then Sancho, of course, was going up against Ben Godfrey. I was a little bit worried there because obviously Godfrey, not a natural fullback at all. And I thought...
But had the pace to match him, didn't he?
But I thought that's where they're going to be targeting now, Ben Godfrey, getting Sancho and Luke Shaw around the outside. But I felt like when them two came on, United sort of didn't live up to it, but we stepped up and put our foot on the gas and went for it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, you know that Ronaldo's always going to be a huge threat, isn't he? He's always going to be someone you've got to watch out for. He only needs a split second. So we had to make sure we were on our mettle. I talked about Michael Keane before. Yerry Mina was fabulous again.
Always is, yeah.
Blocks, cutting things out, gets his head on everything, organising, winding people up, you know. And he was at his very best. I thought Luca Dean had his best game he's had for a while at the weekend. Thought he really
especially
stuck to
defensively.
Exactly, because he's up against Mason Greenwood. I think he's fantastic.
Best natural finisher I think in the league.
He's just both right foot, left foot, can go either way. Always capable of picking it, getting a goal from anywhere.
Well, he did against us a few years ago.
Well, exactly. Just from nowhere, we were ahead, and he'd had one in the first half where he'd gone on the outside and fizzed a great ball across the box, and he's a real threat. But I thought Luca Dean did really well with him, and Godfrey as well. So just at that moment when they come on, you are thinking, oh, here we go, you know.
Could be 2-3.
We Alan and Decore got hold of the game at that moment, and Alan was brilliant again. Them two were brilliant, and then all of a sudden, it was almost like you're waiting for that killer punch that doesn't come. And I think Everton kind of just went, just keep doing what we're doing, and you know they get a corner, and we demonstrate how we can spring teams so well. And comes in, it's flicked away to the edge of the box. Damari Gray's onto it immediately, and then he wins the race with Fred, and then they're running over to the touchline, and I'm thinking, just get a throw in here and we move out. And he nudges him off, and then we're away. And then all of a sudden, it's that moment where you go, you know, you can already see the away fans. But you're looking going because he's at pace, and the core, he's breaking his neck to get there. And once he turns back and you see Townsend and he plays it in,
just hit the target.
The first touch is fabulous. It's out of his feet, and the second touch is bang. It's beyond the hair, and you know it's celebration time. And the beauty of that goal was, you knew there was no offside anywhere
Yeah.
because he come from behind, so it was a goal. You actually got to celebrate a goal properly because it was a goal, and you see the away end, there's just incredible limbs and the players, and just a brilliant
just
goal.
That picture of the away end when they're all celebrating, you can see like that's what it is. That's all we needed.
Just
to get
incredible.
Going again.
Have you seen the videos today and the camera's just on the away fans? And you see that, and it's that the silence that goes quiet the minute Townsend gets it out of his foot, and then it's it, and then you just hear the roar again from that, and it's brilliant for all those fans. But it gave us a real impetus, and then, you know, you're seeing the pictures of Ronaldo, you know, looking like that when he scored, saying, you know, come on and all that, but there was no real like wave of, oh my God, these are gonna, you know, put us under that much pressure, because we then started having counter attacks. They were worried. We'd had a cup one with Damari Gray where he couldn't quite get past Lindelof, wasn't it? He ended up running it out. The Corey had one that was blocked. You know, then they had the two moments they had in the game where I thought the net was going to bust. And one was a Pogba header, which he just didn't get. He was a free header and he headed it over here. And the other one was the Ronaldo one where he fizzed it across Pickford's post. You know, it goes in behind, Sancho plays it, and he hits it. And just for a second, I was expecting the net to ripple. But when you look at it again, it's going right the way across. And other than that, I really think they had the ball. They had a lot of the ball, and they move it round well, but Everton just made sure they were compact.
We frustrated them. Because I don't think they're the type of team that want the ball either. So when we're sitting in and saying, come and attack us, I don't think they've got that attacking quality to be able to break us down.
No, I think it's because they're runners, isn't it? Sancho, I think, will get better and better. I've watched them for Dortmund, and when he's on, he's a real handful. But Green, I think they like counter-attacking as well, Manchester United, because of the power and the pace they've got.
So many, So
sometimes you can, if you sit compact, you can, unless it's Bruno Fernandes, who, to be honest, was his quietest game he's had against Everton.
It was, he's normally always up there.
Exactly. He normally scores against us. He's normally fantastic. And he just couldn't get in the game. And obviously then Rafa Benitez makes a change, takes Anthony Gordon off, puts Tom Davies on, changes it slightly, and yet we still carried that threat going forward. And
I think that change really put us up again into another gear, because I felt like, especially the Corey thought, right, Alan's not on his own now. You know, Tom Davies isn't going to get us forward as much. So he's got the licence to then just get even further forward. Yeah. And obviously, it just creates more opportunities for us, because they've also took, was it Fred or McTominay off in the middle and put Pogba on, which left whoever was there isolated, and we were allowed to just get at Lindelof and Varane very easily.
They were going to win it, and Pogba, we know Pogba is a fabulous footballer. But we just didn't give them an inch. I mean, is that the image of the body slam by Pogba picking Mina up or not? Because the frustration was there, because I just don't think they believed he could get the winner in the game. You know, when you're playing and everything's buzzing and you feel it coming, and I've watched Manchester United for far too long, knowing when they build that head of steam up, you're thinking they're going to score, it's coming. It wasn't there, and
I think the crowd was very frustrated.
The crowd were getting frustrated because obviously they turned up expecting, you know, they won the other night late. But you've got to watch United because they score a lot of late goals. But Everton, ironically, with the team on that counter-attack, threatening them, and we have that moment, the big moment. You've just talked about the Corey, and it was from his run, breaking the lines, gets in the box, fires it across it. I think it was blocked by Lindelof. It goes out for a corner. Corner comes in. It gets cleared. Godfrey goes and wins the first one, and then plays it to Tom Davies. And just in real time, he plays it across. Yeah, Mina taps it in. I'm running around my living room. Well, to be fair, I looked and I'm thinking, hang on, because he was on his own. Yeah. But then Mina, they run off celebrating.
And the United players
and the first, no one was complaining nearly, and then you're thinking, oh my God, you know, there's 86 shades of Oviedo, you know. And then you see the first image I saw, because I was thinking it must be Tom Davies, might be off. The first image, it shows me he's well onside, and I'm like, my God, he's onside. And then you see Mina, and it's like, hang on, they're doing the Mina one. And you can hear the commentators going, oh, they're checking for Yerry Mina. And I'll be honest, the minute he said that, I thought, it'll be disallowed. When you see it, it's a fraction, isn't it? He's only just off, but he is off. You can't argue.
That's a defender's run into the box. That's the problem.
It is, because I think a striker holds, but can't gloss over talking about Tom Davies here, because there's been huge debate. I think when you stop the still, it looks like he should just drive it into that far corner. Two bits of it for me. One, it's Tom Davies, who's low on confidence.
Just missed a penalty.
Missed the penalty in the QPR game, we've gone out. He hits a shot first time there. Okay, it could arrow into that far corner, brilliant. And that would have been what we all wanted. He runs over to the away fans, that's what we wanted from him. He could have sliced it over, hit it straight at De Gea, and everyone would have been on his case.
Or De Gea palms it out and you never know.
You know. So for me, what I think he should have done was took an extra touch, because he's got a lot of room. He takes an extra touch out of his feet, he opens the goal up for himself.
Yeah.
But not only does he do that, Yerry Mina's then in line with him. And so he can just roll it across and we still have to tap in. Or he's got the goal and he's got more of the goal to aim at. He's closer. He can put his foot through it and drive across the keeper. If he saves it, Mina can tap it in anyway. He plays the right ball because the ball ends up in the net.
Yeah.
So it's not the wrong choice. It's just if he'd have took that extra touch, he's then got that picture then in his head of, I can smash this beyond the keeper or Yerry's square. And I think the confidence is, I don't want it, but he's there. And he's just played it too early. And it's a fraction, you know, it's a fraction.
About 2 inches, isn't it?
But do you agree, do you disagree with that? Do you think he should have just hit it? But, you know, what's your view?
I think he's a midfielder that doesn't get forward. So I think his first instance is always, where's the quick first pass? Where's the open player? Yeah. And I think he's looked up and gone, yeah, he's there. It's guaranteed goal if I can get it to him. And we're ahead. Or I can take the shot and to 50-50. And I think he's thought, if I make this pass here, it's easy, because that's what he's used to, just picking the ball and making the easy pass. But I think mainly because he's an Evertonian, I think if any Evertonians in that situation, they're having a shot, and that's what I think he should have done.
Just there to...
Yeah, just put your foot through it and hope for the best. Because your point blank range, it's De Gea's reactions. Is he going to be able to react quick enough to wherever you put the ball?
You want it, I mean, where Andros Townsend put it, basically, don't you, back in that corner. I still think I would have took another touch there to set myself, because I'm in on goal. If I'm knocking it forward, I'm in on goal. Because his first touch is good. It comes into him, he's good, and then he's there. He takes another one, he's in on goal. And then you have got the little short one and it's a goal, or you can fire it back across the keeper. Is he saving it when you're closer? If you're putting your foot through it, probably not. No. And he's done the thing, but it's frustrating, it is. And it would have been a lovely way, I think, for Tom to get going some again. People back on his side and to get himself going and feel good about himself. Confidence, Andros Townsend probably takes a touch, bang, and we're winning 2-1. Damari great, Decore, maybe. Who knows? But it's one of those moments that is, you know, and we could say, and that would have been the game over. United might have come back and equalised with the, you know, you don't know.
Front,
but it's a moment, isn't it, where you're just like, oh, it's one of those.
Yeah, it's like
nearly
we went in moments. Hoping for a draw, and then that happens. You think should have won that game now, and then
I did feel the minute the whistle went, I was a bit like, oh, gutted. When really I would have been, at half time, if you'd have gone, we draw this 1-1, don't worry, I'd have been like, that's a great result, given we've got, because I said this I think I definitely said to Ped the other day, going into this game, we'd have had Richarlison and Dom, I'd have been confident we could beat them. As good as they are, I'd have still thought, we carry such a threat now on the break, we can get at them as well, you know, why can't we get a result? Where, you know, half 12, of course, when you're half 12 and it kicks off, you're thinking, all right, you know, it's going to be difficult. Can we nick a point? Be great if we could. And it just keeps that momentum bubbling. But when it's that close with 86 minutes and that goal's disallowed, you can't help going.
That was it.
But the reality was, what I thought was going to happen after the goal disallowed was they're going to have a real wave now to try and win it. They've got that a huge let-off. We're going to be right under the cosh. And we weren't.
They had 1/2 chance with Sancho.
He's got a block in, didn't he? And that was really it. You know, so you've got to give Everton credit for that, because they did. And the manager. I think the manager now, we're getting into a stage where without going overboard, because we don't need to go overboard about him. Got to give him some credit that he seems to know what he's doing a little bit, you know, and everybody was saying, oh, you know, Ancelotti this and Ancelotti that away from home. This manager's done. You know, Everton have lost 3 home games this year. 3 away games this year. And we're in October. So both of them found a way to play. These players can quite clearly follow instruction. You know, where we've criticised them is the expansive side of the game, and now they're showing that as well. So what Benitez has been able to do is not only build on the fact that they can follow game plans away from home, which we've had Leeds, Brighton, Villa, and United. You know, Villa, you could argue, was a flip of a coin. Damari Gray scores, we win the game. They put us to bed in 9 minutes because they got the goal. Hell,
that was it.
Brighton only lost 1 game this season. That was to us at home. You know, Leeds, I think we should have won at Leeds. And we can look back and go, frustrating, because we could have won that, but it was a first game and all that. So you've got to look at those away games and go, they're not easy away games, them. No. And we've lost 1 of them. You know, won 1, drew 2, lost 1. So
and the one we lost, even
it's a flip of a coin. So the manager's being able to get us defensively strong and expansive as well, and I think we have to say he does deserve some credit, doesn't he, for the way it started.
I think that was everyone's worry with the appointment of Benitez. Is when you watched him at Newcastle, it was like, but there's no hope going forward here. But I think you've seen the quality differences in what he had at Newcastle going forward to us, and you can see he's got them organised and set defensively, and then he's gone, right, this is how we're going to attack, and he's got that spot on, even with our 2-star strikers. He's got us playing good football.
Have you been surprised how expansive we've been?
Yeah, very, very. I was very, at the start of the season, I was thinking it's going to be a long year, this. It's going to be a bit like last year. Yeah. But I've been absolutely surprised. If his name wasn't Rafa Benitez, I think everyone would be singing his name.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, and we want that to continue. We want to be competitive. I think one of the big things he's brought in is that there seems to be a togetherness there, doesn't there? And you know, James is gone now, and that's been removed. That little stick to beat him with. I think The Athletic did an article after he'd gone saying, some of the players are quite happy that he's gone now because everyone's pulling in the same way. And I think it reminds me a little bit of David Moyes' time at Everton, of pull them all together, get them all on the same page. You work your bollocks off. You work for the fans, and he had good players as well, Moyes. So it was all of a sudden Everton became a very difficult side. Now, okay, where Moyes struggled was against the top teams away from home. But God, after the 6, 7, 8 years we've just had, I'd take losing away and beating them at home like Moyes used to, and being in the top 5 and 6, because it gives you that platform to try to build. And I think Benitez has come in, and because he lives in the area, he knows that we're moaning bastards, and he knows what we want, and I suppose he's used that knowledge to his advantage and gone, well, the first thing these want to see is you run your bollocks off. So anyone who doesn't want to run the bollocks off, tell me now, and off you pop out the door. Yep. And everyone so far, when you're seeing the likes of a Wobie, whether his quality on the ball comes through or not, he's running his socks off all of a sudden. You look at Anthony Gordon at the weekend. Anthony Gordon's an attacking player, wants to go that way. He doesn't really want to go that way, but he's defensively. I noticed it last week against Norwich when he come on, because he come over on my side, and he was always looking, where's the play? Where do I need to be? That's been a real key change for me, is that instead of just coming on going, I'm a forward, I just want to run one way, he's coming on and going right. And that'll be Andros, Townsend working on him. Yep. He's also Willisine with Richarlison, because he does that. So when your players are buying into it like that, the manager has to get a bit of credit for that, surely.
I'd also give him credit, because I think I looked at the likes of Gomez and Iwobi, and you can see that I think they're fitter, because they look a lot slimmer than what they were last year, and you can see that in how they're running around, because I think we all know Iwobi didn't really get on with Ancelotti, and you can see that Benitez has come in. He's not put an arm around him, but he's sort of gone, you're going to be a valuable player and we're going to need you. And if you do these little things, then it'll all pay off, and it's obviously working. Because a lot of people don't like Iwobi, but I think he's now enjoying his time more at the club than last year, where people were on his back and wasn't getting on with the manager, and it's all a bit of a thing for him, but he's got there now, and I want him to do very well because you can see it in him. You look at his stats at Arsenal; he was fabulous, and we just want that. If we can get that out of him, I think we've got a real good player. But if he can do it, I don't know.
Well, that's the key thing, isn't it? If you can improve players, good coaches, top coaches improve what they've got. Yes, they want money. Every manager wants money to buy players, of course they do. But you can't. The money can't be the excuse. Always, don't get me wrong. It's an excuse if it's a win thing, of course. It's very difficult to win trophies and be successful without money. But as well as having the money, you've also actually got to do the coaching. Yeah. And I think that's what Everton have possibly had wrong in that, is that we've had Koeman, who was seeing the way he is at Barcelona, a shocking manager really, didn't want to do the coaching. You know, I'm Ronald Koeman. You listen to me because I was one of the greatest players. He was a fabulous footballer. Yep. He's not a fabulous manager by any stretch. Allardyce was Allardyce there. I think Silva, ironically, tried to coach them, but maybe he just didn't have the presence.
He wasn't a good manager.
I think he was a very good training ground manager.
Yep.
But in games, Marco Silva's biggest issue was his number 2.
Yeah.
The one he trusted went, and he should have either given it to Duncan or brought in a real experienced number 2, not Lewis Bobo-Morte, someone who would have protected them. But I think he did want to coach them. It didn't work. Carlo come in, great name and all, but wanted just money. Players, world-class
ready-made players.
We can't do that. We're not a Champions League club. This fella has come in and knows that he wants a coach, so that's the big thing. And long may it continue. It is early, not jumping the gun. It's been a really good start. You know, we go into the international break. We're second. We're joint second, but we're a point behind, aren't we, of the leaders. Yeah. So it's been a really good start. We've got 2 home games after the break. Yes, they'll be difficult. Yep. West Ham particularly will be difficult, but we should have, hopefully, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison maybe, but Seamus Coleman should be back. So again, the squad's a bit stronger. And then we can move for Andre Gomez, and Iwobi, I guess, will be back as well. So the squad on the bench will be much stronger and be in a good position to go on to the next international break, which is 4 weeks after that, unbelievably. Just talked up there about the midfield. You know, we've talked about Abdoulaye Doucouré and Allen, but how good was Doucouré for you at the weekend?
He's what we seen at Watford, and I feel like he was one of them players when Hammers left, he thought, I can be me now. And we've already seen that he's got the same amount of assists as Hammers had all last year. And you can see he's got the power and pace, and that's, you've always said, that's what the Premier League is. And you can see that that's what he's got, and he's been given the licence by Benitez to do that. And he'll also go back and do the grit work at the back and dig in with Allen. But he's not completely different to last year, but attacking, he's what we've needed for a while, I think, someone like that.
We're seeing the player we thought we were buying, didn't we? And last year he come in and had to babysit for Hammers and do all of that running. And even when Hammers wasn't there, the manager had him almost like the last line of defence, which was just not his game. But let's have a look at his numbers anyway from the weekend. Here we go. Played 90 minutes, 48 touches, 1 assist, 2 key passes, and his passing accuracy 86%. That's not bad at Old Trafford. He was brilliant. Him and Allen have been fantastic so far this season. And I think that what you're seeing as well is they're both getting forward as well. It's not even almost like one stay, one go. Even though they have got that relationship, they're both popping up on the edge of the box as well. And I think that's what good players do and good sides do.
It does surprise me because when Allen was under Ancelotti at Napoli, he did like to get forward.
He did, yeah.
But as soon as he's come here, he's the defensive midfielder, and I know he can do it, but that's not his job. He wants to be up and down as well. And again, I think that's Benitez putting the trust in them to do both sides of the job, and that's what they're doing.
Definitely. We obviously couldn't not talk about Andros Townsend, who, for no money other than wages, has been absolutely sensational since he come in. I think most Evertonians scratched their head when they seen the link and were like, what? Mainly because we've been linked with all sorts for 30 millions and this, that, and the other. Yeah. And we got one of them and got Andros Townsend in as well. People might have just gone, oh yeah, fair enough. Decent squad player. But obviously people were like, what? But I've got to say, when he came in and then he gave that first interview, I think we said in here, was just like, that's quite an impressive interview, because he's not saying, oh, I'm here to do. He's like, I'm a squad player, but I want to try to make sure I get in that 11, and I'm honoured to be, and I'm going to work hard and blah, blah, blah. And I think the big thing with him is, he'd been at Spurs, and then he'd left, and he'd been like going down.
Newcastle, Crystal Palace.
And then all of a sudden, he's back, and he says, he's had a massive club, the biggest club he's played for, and all that. Historically, it's the biggest club he's ever played for, with the fans and everything. He's been absolutely incredible, hasn't he?
It's so weird, because even when you watched him at Crystal Palace last year, you knew he had the work rate, and he had great numbers and stats with his crosses, but I wasn't expecting all the goals from him.
No.
Like, he's scoring everywhere, and obviously we know he can score a worldie when he wants, and he did against Burnley.
Yeah.
But I was not expecting him to...
Goal of the month, by the way, wasn't it?
Yeah.
1 goal of the month, yeah.
Wasn't expecting him to have this much of an impact on the team. And especially with having Godfrey or Coleman, who's not got the legs to do anymore, he's covering for them as well, and he's doing brilliant.
Yeah, he's been absolutely sensational, up and down, work rate, great attitude. I think Evertonians love him, because he is just that, I'm made up to play here, and I'm going to show you how I'm made up. And he's got real quality. Yeah, that's the thing. The thing that I guess has let him down recently has been he hasn't put the ball in the back of the net. Mm-hmm. Look at his quality, right foot, left foot. So when you put that with work rate, he's been great. And these are his numbers from the weekend, because again, he scored again at the weekend. 90 minutes played, 49 touches, 1 goal, 2 key passes. Passing accuracy, 80%. It's not bad from a wide player. Nope. But there's also an interesting stat as well from him in terms of shots and individual stat there. He's the only player currently averaging 2 shots a game, 2 chances created, and 2 tackles per 90 in the Premier League this season. So I think just right now, and he has just 1 goal of the month as well for that goal against Burnley, but I think just right now, certainly pound for pound in boxing terms, he's the best midfielder in the country. Yeah, pound for pound, for the simple reason that he costs nothing, and he's banging goals and assists, and he's affecting games in every game he plays. He affects it with a goal or an assist.
Set piece,
set plays, work rate. I think he sets the tone for the whole team. So I think as Blues, we've got to be absolutely delighted with him so far. You know, to the point where, for a lot of Evertonians, he'll be the first name on the team sheet now. Yep. And I imagine saying that in June, we're getting Andros Townsend, and he's going to be the first name. You're going to want to make sure he's in your team. I think when you have a player like that, who knows the manager quite clearly knew what he was getting. He's come in, work hard in training every single day, appreciate everything, because you were at other clubs, and it's like, I'm back at a big club, and I'm 30. I've got to, this is my chance. He's a fit lad. So, you know, we'll do his bits in between as well. But people like Anthony Gordon, looking at him and going, like, what's he doing? Like, he's in the team. You know, young Lewis Dobbins, another one, be looking and going, what's he doing that I'm not doing? I think it's brilliant. I think it affects everybody in the team.
And he can also obviously teach the likes of Gordon, like, I've been here, I've been at your position, whereas at Spurs, and my career's not gone the way it should have done. Yeah. And hopefully the likes of Dobbin and Gordon can learn from that and continue on their path.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is, I think sometimes they're the intangibles I don't think that people think about really, is that when you're putting the dressing room together, you need those key plays. And I think Everton we're seeing more of that this season. Damari Gray's been another one, fantastic, worked hard. Seen at the weekend, the little scuffle. Everyone was involved. No one, you know, normally a couple of them are out the way, like looking what's up there. You know, they were all in the midst of it, you know, when him and Gray were mouthing off, and they were making sure they stood up for each other. All puts it together. When the fans see it, the fans want to buy into it as well. I've seen lots of comments. Can't speak for every Evertonian, of course. I've seen lots of comments on Saturday night, people saying, I feel connected with my club again now, with this team, because this team are workhorses. And the good thing for that is, the 3 lads who we've got out at the moment three of the hardest working ones anyway, and Dom, Richarlison and Seamus Coleman. So you put that back into this mix as well. If it makes you feel positive and go, you know what? If we can just keep this going and get to January and bring another couple into it, we could have a good season.
Yeah, we could, yeah. Obviously, we've seen some links with the likes of Van der Beek and players like that who are coming in January, and he'll be one of them if we can get him in to have a point to prove, especially to United, and that's only another type of player that we need to be bringing in. The ones that have sort of gone to clubs and you can see they want to be out there playing, and they're not getting the opportunity, and they can come hopefully to us and perform, like the likes of Damari Gray, where I don't know what's gone on with him in the past. I think obviously differences with Rodgers and everything have let him down, but he's come here and he knows he's got a point to prove, and he's delivering, and that's all you can ask.
Yeah, definitely. That rather than having players who've been at the top and then go, oh yeah, I'll go to Everton, and then after a bit lose interest because it's a bit harder. Let's have a look at the stats from the game. Everton were very lucky, apparently, hanging on and according to certain narratives. Yep. Let's see the stats. 13 shots for United, 12 to Everton. 6 on target for Man United, 2 for Everton. 3 big chances for United, 1 for Everton. 72% of the ball. 700 passes to 268. The interesting thing about that is, especially with like the big chances and all that, is that the XG for the game, Everton's XG was higher than Manchester United's. United was just over 1. Everton was 1.32. So in terms of XG, we had the better chances. So despite that saying big chances, Everton actually had the higher quality of chances. And the game, in terms of what happened in either penalty area, was very tight. Yes, I wouldn't sit here and say they didn't dominate the ball, because 70% tells you they did. But in terms of both penalty areas, it was very, very even.
I think that's what most pundits look at the bottom two stats and go, oh, it was all United. Obviously, one big chance. We know we had a couple of chances, and they didn't have as many as well. But I'm enjoying people saying, oh, they're written off and everything. I'd rather be under the radar rather than being bigged up like we have been in the past.
Yeah, definitely. But regardless of everything, we got a really good point against a really good side. And we go into this international break now and we can lick our wounds a little bit, get a few of the walking wound back, give other people a little bit of a break. Yep. And with this manager, the full focus will be on West Ham United. Yep. And it's a Sunday, so it gives everyone an extra day to prepare as well. So I'd say we seem to be in decent nick after the first 7 games.
Yeah, very surprised. I was not expecting this at the start. I was expecting maybe 9 points about now, 8 points. But to be where we are, I think no one can complain. I don't think anyone would have expected us to be there.
And with 2 home games to come, if we could beat West Ham and Watford at home, then you're flying, absolutely flying, aren't you? 20 points in October, you're flying. So we can't get ahead of ourselves. We've done that before, but we're going into the break in a good position, and I'll be honest, in a slightly better position than I thought we would be last week, because I thought it'd be very difficult for us at the weekend, especially because they just lost their own to Villa, and it's normally like they're not going to lose 2 home games on the run. And
the midweek game took it out of them a bit for us.
Listen, maybe it did, but VAR helped them. So even though it was the right decision, let's be fair, he was offside, but he was only just offside. So there you go, 1-1, good result for Everton, difficult ground, although it's now 4 years since we lost at Old Trafford, which is mad as well. 3 draws in the last 3 years, so that's not bad. Not a bad record, but in fact, one of the best records we've had there. One of the best runs we've had there since the Premier League started, probably. So let us know what you think in the comments section below. Are you happy with the point? What did you make? Obviously, you'd let me know anyway what you thought of the Tom Davies situation, but can Everton now go on and have a good season? Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. We're going to go over to Patreon and carry this on. So if you want to become a patron, the link is in the description. Thanks for watching. See you later.